So starting with John chapter 1 and verse 1, it begins, Bereshit haya hadavar, v'hadavar haya im Elohim, v'Elohim haya hadavar. And then we'll read it slowly. So we get Bereshit, Bereshit, haya, haya, hadavar. My cursor's not showing up there. Oh well. Hadavar, v'hadavar, last line of line 1 there. V'hadavar, haya, im Elohim, ve'Elohim haya hadavar. All right, so let's get into it. So it starts with Bereshit, Bereshit, okay, which is to be translated here in the beginning. If you've watched my stuff on on Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1 and how the word Bereshit is to be understood there, that's a very different thing. So here it is to be understood as in the beginning with the definite article implied. Bereshit, we're going to translate it as in the beginning. The Greek here is enarchi, okay, which again lacks the article. It lacks the definite article. And which is influencing which here, that's a topic for another time. We'll deal with that more in Genesis. But literally the Greek en means in, archi means beginning, so in beginning, but it's understood to mean in the beginning. In the Kini Greek, some people say koine, but more accurate pronunciation would be kini, so that's what you're going to hear me say, except when I forget to. In Kini Greek, there are plenty of instances where the definite article is lacking, and yet it is to be translated, and vice versa. So there's not a one-to-one correspondence between Greek and Hebrew, Hebrew and English, Hebrew and Greek, what did I leave out there, with regard to the definite article. And anybody who speaks Spanish fluently will understand that that is the case too in Spanish. It's the case in Arabic. There are just times in these languages where the definite article is required in one language and it's not used in the other, and that just how it be. So, all right. So Bereshit, in the beginning, we're going to translate it. Haya, this is going to be a third masculine singular. Any student of even elementary biblical Hebrew is going to recognize that. Okay. Bereshit haya. Okay, and third masculine singular suffix conjugation. Third masculine singular suffix conjugation of the root he, yud, yud. Now, it's going to show up in the lexicon as hey, yud, hey. Properly speaking, it's hey, yud, yud, but you can say hey, yud, hey. Okay, so let's see. Bereshit haya, in the beginning, was. Haya can mean it was, he was, and then hadavar is going to be a predicate nominative, or, functions as the subject of the verb, ha-davar, okay, which is going to be davar, meaning word, and the ha is the definite article. Of course, it has the definite article has all three of its, characteristics here, with the hey, the consonantal hey, with a patach under it, that is the historically short a vowel, and of course the dagesh in the subsequent consonant. So hadavar, bereshit haya hadavar. In the beginning was the word. All right, let me head on over to the chat here. So Jaime writes, could it be defining the word as the beginning rather than spatially but absolutive with to be? So what you have, the way I understand it here, is what you have going on in Genesis, and we have to talk about Genesis 1 because there's the translation of the Septuagint here, and here's the Targum. Okay, this is Targum Onkelos, the translation of Targum Onkelos. So Bereshit bara Bereshit bara Elohim. Okay, so translations typically take this as in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning God created. Okay, or there's the English. That's right. I got rid of the English. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, what I argue is that it probably means when God began to create. Okay, and this is something that, is discussed even among medieval Jewish scholars like Rashi and so on and so forth. Are there problems with it? Yeah, but I think it's the stronger um, uh, um, reading, in part because of the syntax of verse 2, where it begins with va'atzayta. Meanwhile, this is a subordinate clause, which shows that verse is not over. So when God began to create the heavens and the earth was blah, 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 blah. Okay. The NETS, looking at the Greek, notice that it also begins with enerchi. Okay. So we have to understand here that John, presumably, as much as he knows Hebrew and Aramaic, is borrowing from the Greek, which is very much authoritative scripture for so many Jews at this time. So enarchi, okay, which here has to be understood as in the beginning because of the way the Greek deals with the Hebrew. The way the Greek deals with the Hebrew is not how I think the Hebrew is meant to be understood, but nevertheless, that is what Jews have inherited in the Septuagint, and so we need to take that into account. When you look at the Targum, the translation of the Targumim that I was part of, this is my colleague Eldon Clem who did this one. I was a proofreader for it. For this text, but in former times the Lord created the heaven and the earth was desolate and empty, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And so it doesn't mean in the beginning. We go with in former times. There's obviously, no matter what interpretation you take, it's going to be problematic. But what I go with, for a variety of reasons, is when God began to create the heavens and the earth, comma, and so on and so forth. And part of that is based on the Hebrew text here and the syntax. Part of it is based on the Akkadian composition Enuma Elish, which is the Babylonian creation account, which is in many ways the backdrop to Genesis chapter 1. Okay? All right, let me go on over to the chat here. I think I missed a few comments. When, meanwhile, yeah, absolutely. So when God began to create. Okay, which modern Hebrew translation of the New Testament are you using in this live? And then finally, is John 1:2, does it replicate the, okay, we'll come to John 1:2 in a minute with that. So the text here, this is I have a bunch of modern Hebrew Bibles. You can see that this one is well worn. I think I purchased this maybe in like 2006. It was my first trip to Israel, actually. I think I picked it up in Jerusalem, actually. So it's by, sorry, I know this is totally irreverent, but this has traveled the world with me. And yes, it has coffee stains on it, but at least it gets used, right? So anyways, so yeah, this is from the Bible Society in Israel. The printed edition that I have in front of me is revised. 1991. So Bible Society in Israel, 1991. I think, though I am not certain, that the electronic text that I'm using here is the same text, but maybe a slightly updated version. This is the same text as the one I'm holding in my hand, 1991. Yep. So I wasn't sure if it was updated. Okay. And let me, bear with me. There we go. All right, we're back. Good. All right, looks like a manuscript. Okay, good. Sorry, and doing my best to keep up with all these comments here. All right, so Bereshit haya hadavar. I'm going to understand that as in the beginning was the word. The Greek there, enerchi in o logos. So was an imperfect past tense verb. Okay, it was what was the word was. Okay, and o logos in Greek is translated into Hebrew here with hadavar. Okay. All right. So in the beginning was the word v'hadavar haya im Elohim. In the beginning was the word and ke o logos in pros ton theon. Okay. So and the word v'hadavar corresponds to ke o logos. Okay. And then we get v'hadavar haya.